he relied on Russian spies as part of an impeachment inquiry, a sham one, to go after President Biden. Play the clip.
So James Comer and Jim Jordan, they knew that this was not corroborated information, yet they still went public with it, talked about it on television, used it to fuel these investigations regardless?
That's what it appears. I certainly didn't have any evidence outside the statement itself that it was credible. And as a prosecutor for 25 years, Caitlin, I never went to the public until I could prove the reliability of a statement. And even then, the only public statement a prosecutor makes is the charging document. Let's see what the evidence is in this impeachment, if there is more evidence, before going forward.
And here is Ken Buck in another interview on Meet the Press, talking about how, because he says very simple things, even though this is a conservative Republican, because he says facts occasionally, that the MAGA Republicans have attacked him and he receives all of these death threats now. Here, play this clip.
Part of the reason that there's temper right now is this constant barrage of phone calls. I have 6 full-time people answering the phones. I have 20,000 messages from people where we couldn't. So far, I've had 4 death threats. I've been evicted from my office in Colorado. I have notice of an eviction because the landlord is mad with my voting record on the speaker issue. And everybody in the conference is getting this. So it's natural. Family members have been approached and threatened. All kinds of things are going on. There's going to be some tension.
4 death threats, Congressman, because you're not supporting Jim Jordan?
That's right.
And he receives these death threats simply for saying, look, I'm not going to support anybody for Speaker who believes that the 2020 election was not a free and fair election. And he's been consistent, Ken Buck, that this is his position. Yet in MAGA Republican world, you have to be full Kim Jong-un, full Vladimir Putin, and you have to say the 2020 election was stolen in order for you to be a Republican today. Here, play this clip of Ken Buck.
Something as simple as saying the 2020 election wasn't stolen. Why don't you think either one of those gentlemen can commit to that?
I think there is a large group of Trump followers in this country that would disagree with that, and there would be a political penalty for saying such a thing.
Got it.
And so Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of the MAGAs attacked Ken Buck before, and they said because Ken Buck said that the 2020 election was not stolen, it was a free and fair election. By the way, Ken Buck was never a Biden supporter, but because he said, what are we talking about? You're just, these MAGAs are just lying to the American people. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, Ken Buck is a Democrat. When's Ken Buck going to come out as a Democrat? He's shilling for Joe Biden. And Ken Buck's response is basically, look, when I teach constitutional law, I don't know what they teach in Marjorie Taylor Greene's like weirdo version of CrossFit, but in my class, I teach about our democracy and about our Constitution, what it actually means. Here, play this clip.
Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and said, we played the sound yesterday, that she's like, I'm not voting for any budget bill, no continuing resolution, nothing that doesn't involve the defunding of Jack Smith's special counsel office and everything that he's doing. Do you feel similarly about that issue as you do to defunding the FBI and the ATF and the DEA, et cetera?
So George, when I was teaching law school, I learned and taught certain constitutional principles. When Marjorie Taylor Greene was teaching CrossFit, she learned a whole different set of values, evidently, because my idea of what this country should be like is based on the Constitution. And she sees the world differently. She's criticized me for voting to certify the election in 2020. The Constitution says Congress shall count the votes. It doesn't say Congress may overturn an election result. It doesn't say Congress can do whatever the heck it wants with this election. Shall count the votes. That's what the Constitution says. In her CrossFit class, maybe they didn't cover that. And it also, the Constitution also says that, the impeachment of a president shall be based on treason, high crimes, misdemeanors. It doesn't say it's a political exercise,
right?
And we hope the Senate does the right thing. And so I get tired of people. One of the beauties of Congress is you bring 435 people together from different backgrounds and you try to reach a consensus on issues. When you've got people who care more about their social media accounts than they do about the Constitution, we have a real problem in Congress.
And by the way, Ken Buck's departure comes at a time where it is an absolute bloodbath in the RNC. They've gotten rid of about 60 RNC staffers. I had the opportunity to interview the chair of the DNC, Jamie Harrison. I'll play you just a short clip from that interview where Chairman Harrison basically says what financial and utter turmoil and disarray the Republican Party is in right now. Here, play this clip. Lara Trump has officially become the chair of the RNC, and the RNC is apparently gutting at least 60 positions, moving operations to Palm Beach or Mar-a-Lago. What do you make of this complete and utter mess?
Man, listen, as they say, the RNC is down bad. You think about this. After Trump has taken over this party, Lara Trump is the chair of the party. They are in financial disarray. They're dealing with a mass purge of staffers. Just a few months before the election, I hear almost a third of the staffers at the RNC are being laid off. And they are on one of the worst losing streaks we've seen in modern party politics, in modern party politics in the history of this nation. So, you know, they're taking out lines of credit, laying off staff, and they can't even afford to spend money on their races down ballot. But this is a good thing. They are paying Donald Trump's legal bill. So as I said with you earlier, man,